Greetings viewers and subscribers. So in this journey, we're going to be traveling from Unity Hall, just outside of Montego Bay. We are traveling to Negril in the parish of Westmoreland. Over the next few days, we are going to be passing areas like Great River, Hopewell, Sandy Bay, Lucy, you name it. We are heading towards Negril. Also, we are going to be slowing down the video a bit because we want you to enjoy the scenery. So, sit back, relax, and drive with me. No, we didn't carry any birthday greetings yesterday. So later on today, we are going to be carrying the birthday greetings for yesterday and today. Stand by for that. Now, there has been a lot being said about the shooting at Spring Garden in Westmoreland. Some news organizations, they have been reporting that robbery was the motive because a bag with money was stolen. No, we are not saying a bag with money was not stolen. What we are saying is that robbery was not the motive. Later on in this video, we are going to tell you how Shian was killed. And then you can tell me if you see anything where robbery was the motive. And what we are going to tell you is not speculation. We did our investigation and we have spoken to persons who were at the event. And all of them are saying the same thing. But before we reach there, we are going to remind you about some mayhem at parties since COVID-19. As we all know, most parties being held since the pandemic were not permitted by the authorities to be held. So they are deemed illegal, right? I am not naive, and I am not being hypocritical. I like to party. And to tell you the truth, I am sure that since the pandemic and since the government put in their restrictions, I may have been to a few gatherings which may be deemed illegal. So I am not being hypocritical. I am just pointing out some facts so we can better understand what is happening. And the truth is, based on what is happening, we are the ones individually who must decide where we are going to go and where we are not going to go. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, no care what restriction the government put in place, it will be breached. And that is the truth. Because no matter what we say, parties still are going to keep. The big wigs are going to keep parties and the small wigs will be keeping parties. I am not endorsing it. I'm just stating the cold, hard facts. I'm just being truthful. So let's go back into some history. And in this video, we are not going to be capturing all of the parties. I'm just going to remind you of some. Do you remember that a party was held at Garden in White House in the parish of Westmoreland? It was held on Sunday, November 1, 2020. Reports are that hoodlums, they opened fire. When the shooting subsided, at least 15 persons were left nursing gunshot-related injuries. 2 persons died as a result. They were identified as Casey Blair. He was popularly known as Coco. You are seeing a photograph of Coco on your screen. Coco, he was 30 years old and he lived at Petersville. The other person to have died in that incident was Mark Morgan. Mark was popularly known as Ated. He was 31 years old and he lived at the same place where the party was being held, Garden District. Both districts are in the parish of Westmoreland. So that is one party. In another party, and many persons, I am sure you will remember this one. On Saturday, April 17, 2021, a party was being held on a boat at Big Bridge in the parish of Westmoreland. When that man that you're seeing on your screen, his name is Andrew Campbell. He was popularly known as Kid. Now, Kid, he was 30 years old and he was from a Savlamar address in the parish of Westmoreland. Kid, he was shot and killed at this party. It is said that about 8:30 p.m. some persons at the party, they had a conflict. Kid intervened and he was shot and killed. A few hours later, that man that you're seeing on the screen, his name is Kazman Loney. He was popularly known as Deli. Now, Deli, he was 48 years old, and he was a car wash operator. He lived at Big Bridge in the parish of Westmoreland. Daily, he was at his car wash early in the Sunday morning when he was shot and killed. Daly's killing was said to be an act of reprisal because even though Daly was not at the party, it was being said that at least one of his relatives was involved in the fracas that caused kids killing. So let's move on. This one, by now the whole world may have heard about this one. On Thursday, June 10th, 2021, that man that you're seeing on your screen, he was popularly known as DJ Jashi. He was 31 years old and he lived at Landilo in the parish of Westmoreland. Jashi, he was playing at a party at Little London in the parish of Westmoreland. During the party, a dispute broke out with Jashi and one or two other persons. Later that night, Jashi, he was shot and killed at the front of Landilo Phase 1, the front of the scheme where he lived. It is alleged that Jashi, he was shot and killed with a licensed firearm. It is said that the owner for that licensed firearm, he and Jashi were in a conflict at the party that was being held at Little London. A point to note is that the person, the licensed firearm holder, who it is alleged that his gun killed Jashi, he was never charged by the police. His gun was seized and he had given a statement to the police, but he was never charged. This is not saying that he will not be charged in the future, but when we made checks before we recorded this video, we were told that he was not charged. In another incident, this one took place on August 28, 2021. In this incident, about some minutes after 11 p.m., a group of persons were at a bingo party. Now, this bingo party, it was being held at Bogill in Montego Bay in the parish of St. James. In that incident, a man entered the bingo party. He brandished a gun and opened gunfire. When the shooting subsided, 3 persons were shot. One of the persons who was shot, his name is Shian Thompson. He was 36 years old and he was a businessman from the same Bogill in Montego Bay. Shian's 28-year-old sister was also shot. Another man was also shot in the incident. Now, we had carried the story at the time and we told you that that man, he was unidentified. He was not from the area. He was not from the Bogill area. We gave you a description of that man. And we also told you that he had a tattoo on his left leg. This tattoo was that of a money bag with the words "blood money" marked on the bag. Are you following me? This man, he had a tattoo on his left leg. This tattoo was that of a money bag. On that money bag, the words "blood money" was inscribed on it. Now, we did some investigation, and our investigation has proven that the correct name for this man is Jordan Stewart. He was popularly known as Joe. Now, Joe, he was about 27 years old, and he was from a Montego Bay, St. James address. Now, Joe, he was a hitman. Yeah, man, Joe was a contract killer. So Joe, apparently, he was paid by somebody to carry out a hit. So he went to the bingo party where he shot Shian and Shian's sister. But somebody else who was at the party was armed, and that person, he shot and killed Joe before he could finish off Shian's sister. In the end, both Joe and Shian, they succumbed to their injuries. So that was another party. On October 9, 2021, about some minutes after 8 p.m., a birthday party was being held at Retreat, in the Little London police area in the parish of Westmoreland. 2 men, they were at the party, but they were outside of the yard where the party was being held. They were standing along a section of the roadway. It is said that those 2 men, they were approached by a hoodlum. This hoodlum, he was armed with a gun. It is said that he opened gunfire, hitting both men. The 2 men, one of them is Shian Myers. He was popularly known as Popeye. and he was 31 years old. He lived in the area at Retreat in Westmoreland. The second man, his name was Maurice Scott. He was popularly known as Wani. He was 29 years old and he lived nearby at New Hope in the parish of Westmoreland. So both Wani and Popeye, they died as a result of this shooting. We carried one or two stories afterwards and we told you that Wani, he was a hoodlum. He was a suspect in at least 2 killings. So it is suspected that it's because of his lifestyle why Wani was targeted. We didn't get any adverse report about Popeye, but he may have been killed because he was standing beside Wani. Now, in the early morning of Monday, December 27, 2021, a gunman believed to have been seeking to exact revenge on another man who opened fire at an all-white party being held at Old Folly, Discovery Bay in the parish of St. Ann. At the end of the shooting, 5 persons were shot. A man, his name is Roger Linton. He was 21 years old and he was the target for the hoodlum who opened fire. They said that Roger and that man, they had a conflict. A lady, you are seeing a photograph of her on your screen. Her name is Tamara Kelly. She was 23 years old. Both Roger and Tamara, they succumbed to their injuries after being shot. 3 other persons, all females, they were shot and injured in this incident. Happily, no one else succumbed to their injuries. So we have given you a list of some parties where some mayhem took place. I am sure there's a lot more we could have covered. But, next time. Now, have you hit on the like button as yet? Have you subscribed to the channel as yet? Remember, if you have not yet subscribed, we are now over 69,000 subscribers. In a few days' time, we'll be at 70,000 subscribers. We are growing. Continue to grow with us. Because over here, we give you authentic news. We give you credible news. We are going to make mistakes, but if and when we do so, we are going to come back and correct it. We don't set out to intentionally mislead you. We set out to give you credible information. We are not here to slander anybody, or libel anybody, or tell lie upon nobody. We just give you the cold, hard facts. Also, our backup channel, PNL Vlogs TV. As you know, we have gotten a strike from YouTube. And the next strike that we get will be banned from uploading content for a week. So, PNL Vlogs TV, ensure that you go over there and subscribe to the channel. Not only subscribe, watch at least 1 or 2 of the videos. Because if anything happens over here, we are going over there. Because our commitment is to bring the news to you. So go over there and subscribe to the channel. So that whenever we upload a video over there, you will be notified. So by now, you would have heard the news. Some news organizations and some persons are saying 6 people were shot, whilst some of them are saying it's 7. Some are saying robbery was the motive for this attack. Now, what am I talking about? It was a party that was held on Sunday, February 6, 2022. It was held at Spring Garden in the parish of Westmoreland. Now, many people might not know where Spring Garden is or where to find it. If you are leaving Little London and you are going to Negril, when you reach Sheffield, after you go up that long stretch of road, there's a deep corner, left-hand corner. You are going around that corner, there's a road that turns off on your right. If you should turn off to your right and drive around that road, there is where you find Spring Garden. So, this party that was being held, it was being promoted by Shian and Cheechips. Now, the official report is that 8 persons were shot. And I say official. Hear me out. It's either 8 persons were shot or at least 8 persons were shot. Because it is possible that someone might have been shot and didn't make an official report. Or they are using some type of home remedy to dress their wound. That is possible. Persons might refrain from reporting their injuries for any type of reason. Could be wanted, Maybe they don't want nobody know that they were at the party, etc. I'm just telling you what is possible. Secondly, robbery was not the motive for this attack. No, robbery was not the motive. Money might have been stolen, but Marshall Gayle, popularly known as Cheechips, and Sherese Murray, popularly known as Shian, they were the targets for these hoodlums. And I say these, you're gonna hear why. Here's what happened in Shian's case. We are working on Cheechips' case, but we are gonna tell you how Shian died. Shian, she was selling in the bar at the party. She controlled the money for the bar. So, a few persons were in the bar when we are told that a lady, she entered and she ordered a red stripe beer and a dragon. A hoodlum who was dressed in a plaid long sleeve shirt. He entered the bar. He pulled a gun, and whilst Shian was taking up the dragon and the red stripe from out of the igloo to serve the lady who had just ordered, the hoodlum pointed the gun at her and bam bam! He shot Shian twice. Shian fell, and the guy, he leaned over to the counter and put some more bullets in Shian's body. The guy, he then ran out of the bar. When persons realized what was happening, everybody started running. Now the guy, whilst he was running back to the main road towards either the vehicle or motorcycle that was awaiting him, he looked behind and he saw people running towards him. Maybe the shooter, maybe he thought that he was being chased, so what he did was he turned his gun behind him into the crowd of people behind him and fired about 6 more shots. That is exactly how Shian was killed. There was no attempt by the guy who shot her to rob her, neither did he take up any bag with any money. Cheechip, apparently he was killed by somebody else, not the guy who killed Shian. Yesterday we carried the story and we told you that 16 spent shells were recovered. But we are being told by persons who were at the party or who live nearby that they heard about 80 bullets or more being fired. Now, you know something that we must be mindful of? When these killings take place, when most of these senseless killings take place, you know who is normally forgotten? Do you know who is normally forgotten? The children. Shian, Jashi, Cheechips. In fact, most of the persons who we mentioned in this video, they were parents. They were either mother or father. They had children. And in most of this, they are normally forgotten. So here what happened now. It's not much, but we at Popeye NewzLynx would like to say condolences to all the children who your parents were mentioned in this video. Condolences to you. Let's hope that you are being properly cared for. The mayhem continues. Blessed love, everybody.